Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna. So, today I wanted to start reading from the Srimad Bhagavad-Gita. And I know starting so many different books, but I wanted like a well kind of rounded. There's so many different kinds of books that we have, and they're also very nice. And it adds a little bit of variety to the teachings. And the Bhagavad-Gita is very important. Srila Gurudeva said that it's like the foundation for our spiritual life. If we can understand what Krishna is giving in the Bhagavad-Gita, this will give us a very strong platform with which to progress on the path of developing love for Krishna and being very fixed so that we won't fall down from that. And we can understand all the philosophy very well, and then we can also tell it to others. So this is the book that changed my life, the very first book that I read. So I certainly want to share it with others as far as possible, and also refresh my own memory on the Bhagavad-Gita. So just a little bit every day. Our Premananda Prabhu in Vrindavan, India, he told one devotee that at least every day you should at least touch the Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad-Gita like this. How important it is, what to speak of reading it, what to speak of following it in our own lives. Just a little bit every single day, like a homeopathic medicine. It can help so much if we really take it into our hearts and follow it. And it's unlimited. Srila Prabhupada, he would say that we have so many nice literatures for everyone to read that in their whole life they will not be able to finish reading all of these things. So it doesn't matter so much what we read, when we read it, and how much we read. It's all absolute, it's all pure and perfect, and it's all beneficial. Simply in our next life, we will continue on from where we stopped in this life. So I'm very excited to start reading the Bhagavad-Gita, and then we'll keep reading from Gurudev's Brahma Samhita and from Gurudev's classes, his lectures. And then I also at least want to start reading Srila Prabhupada's lectures at some point. And then we'll keep doing kirtan classes and sloka classes. And in that way, we'll just cycle through all these different subjects and topics. And eventually I want to read more of Gurudev's books on like the Gopi Gita and other things, Vilap Kusmanjali, different things, but mostly this Bhagavad-Gita is so important. I want to read through the Srimad Bhagavatam eventually, start reading through that. So much nice instructions and things in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and inspiration that we can take into our spiritual lives. And Srila Gurudeva would say that whenever we're reading from anything, we should think that the author of whatever we're reading is sitting right there in front of us and instructing us. And that we should pray to the author, "Oh, you are not just a book, you are Krishna himself," if we're reading the Bhagavad-Gita. You are Shukadeva Goswami himself, if we're reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. You are Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami yourself, if we're reading the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And please bestow your mercy upon me that I can understand the very deep meanings of the words that you're writing, and follow them in my own life. So we should think, Gurudeva would say, that Prabhupada is right here instructing us, speaking to us. Rupa Goswami is right here speaking to us. The authors of these books, they're like our instructing spiritual masters. Gurudeva would say that after a devotee takes initiation into this line of devotion to the Supreme Lord, to Krishna, then all of the previous acharyas come to that devotee to help him in the form of their literature. And so we should not underestimate the power of the Shastra. It's called Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. There's the spiritual master, the devotee, and the scripture. And they will all be in the same line. So the guru and the devotee, they're not saying anything different than what is in the Shastra. They'll all be saying the same thing. And that's how you can tell the authenticity of a bona fide devotee or a bona fide spiritual master, is that everything that they teach and speak is completely in line with the scripture, with the Vedas, with the Shastra. It won't always be exactly the same, but the essence will be the same. Like the same wine in a new bottle, Gurudeva would say. So, and it won't always be in line, but if at least two of them are in line, Gurudeva would say, then you can know that it's bona fide. If Guru and Sadhu are saying something that it's maybe against Shastra, then that is okay. But if the devotee, the Sadhu, is saying something that's against Guru and Shastra, then it might be not authentic. It might be bogus. So we have to reconcile all these different things. And so we're here, for those who don't know, the Bhagavad-Gita is a conversation between Krishna himself, the Supreme Lord. After he has gone to Dwarka, he's taken birth and performed his pastimes in Vrindavan and Mathura, and now he's gone to Dwarka and spent time with the Pandavas. And now, after so many years, the great Mahabharata war is happening between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. Two big, basically fighting over the kingdom of the earth. And the Pandavas are the good guys, the Kauravas are the bad guys. And Krishna is on the side of the Pandavas. And millions of people are in this battle, and they're about to fight each other. And so setting the stage on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the armies have come to meet each other. They're about to fight. It was a very short battle. It probably lasted somewhere around 7 days, I think, something like that, where millions of people died. But at the very beginning, Arjuna, the probably most prominent fighter in this war on the side of the Pandavas, asks Krishna, who is his charioteer, who agreed to drive Arjuna's chariot. Arjuna asks Krishna to drive his chariot in between the two armies of the battlefield. And at that moment, on the opposite side, Arjuna could see that his grandfather and his guru in archery, Dronacharya and Kripacharya, and so many of his elders and teachers and family members are on the enemy side. And Arjuna begins to tremble, and he drops his bow and arrow and says, "I will not fight, Krishna. I can't do this. Why are you making me engage in this ghastly warfare? I would rather die than have to do this. All of these men all their wives will be widows, and I will be the cause of so much sinful activity in this planet, and it will be terrible for everyone. And I do not want to do this. I want to go to the forest and give all this up." He really does not want to fight his family members. He's worried that he will go to hell, and the whole world will go to ruin if he does this. And so he becomes bewildered, and he tells Krishna that he won't fight anymore. And I'm going to start reading from chapter 2, where Krishna begins speaking to Arjuna. And so that's a very basic, general outline. The theme of the Bhagavad-Gita is that Krishna is explaining to Arjuna why he should fight this war, because ultimately all of those persons on the enemy side, they are demons, and they're fighting against religion, against religious principles. And so Krishna himself, God himself, he comes and this is described by Krishna in the Gita, he destroys the demons, all demoniac tendency in this world. When there's too much demoniac tendency, he comes and he kills the demons. And so this was Krishna. Now he's trying to eliminate all of these demons on the side of the Kauravas. And Krishna explains to Arjuna about the soul, the nature of the soul, and the position of the soul, the eternal soul, and its relationship with the Supreme Lord, the position of the Supreme Lord, and the practice of devotion to his lotus feet, and everything about this material world, and everything. In the introduction to this Bhagavad-Gita, Prabhupada describes that there's 5 subject matters that are covered and explained in the Bhagavad-Gita. And for anyone who has not read the introduction to Prabhupada's Bhagavad-Gita, please do it. Bhagavad-Gita as it is, it's life-changing. I'm not going to read through it now because I've read through it before, and anyhow, definitely get this and find it online on Vedabase. I can link it in the description. Read the introduction, it will change your life. And so, Prabhupada is saying that five subject matters are described. God Himself, the living entities, this material nature, what is karma, and then time. These are the five subject matters described, talked about. So this is what Krishna is explaining to Arjuna: the nature of the soul, God, this world, action, karma, and time. So I'm going to start reading from chapter 2. And Srila Gurudeva, he would say that chapter 2, if we can understand chapter 2 of the Bhagavad-Gita, then we can understand the entire Bhagavad-Gita. And Prabhupada calls it contents of the Gita summarized. So basically, Krishna gives a full summary, an outline of what he's going to speak about in the Gita in the second chapter before he speaks to Arjuna. And it's a short discussion. Krishna doesn't speak very long with Arjuna, but it's very densely packed. And so our acharyas, Srila Gurudeva, Srila Prabhupada, they've unpacked the deeper meanings of Krishna's words. And this Gita has been studied since unlimited time. Krishna spoke the Gita to the sun god, and it has been present even before that. This is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. The Gita Upanishad is known as the essence of all the Upanishads. So all the knowledge that Krishna wants to give is packed into this scripture. It's one of the most studied scriptures in the whole world. So it's very nice. And alongside Srila Prabhupada's, I'm also reading the commentary of our Srila Gurudeva, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. I can also link a PDF for this. And this is special because it also has the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who Srila Gurudeva said is like an incarnation of Rupa Goswami, one of the foremost disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he gives very, very, very deep meanings to all these verses. So that is also very nice to read. Srila Prabhupada mostly takes from the commentary of Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, who is a disciple of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And then Srila Gurudeva also gives his own commentary in this. So we have a lot of different commentaries to draw from here. So we'll just, without further ado, we'll get started. And Hari Bol. So I'll read the Sanskrit, the word for word, and the translation. So text 1. Sanjaya uvacha tam tata kripaya vishtam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha madhusudana. Sanjaya uvacha. Sanjay said. Sanjay is a great devotee. He's explaining all of these things to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is blind, but he wants to know what's happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Sanjay, he's watching all of these things transcendentally, and he's explaining all of it to Dhritarashtra. So now Sanjay, he's explaining what he's seen on the battlefield, which is Krishna instructing Arjuna in spiritual life. Tam, unto Arjuna, tata, thus, kripaya, by compassion, avishtam, overwhelmed, ashru purna, full of tears, akula, depressed, ikshanam, eyes, vishidantam, lamenting, idam, this, vakyam, words, uvacha, said, Madhusudana, the killer of Madhu, or Krishna himself. Translation by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Sanjay said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion and very sorrowful, his eyes brimming with tears, Madhusudana, Krishna, spoke the following words. Purport. Material compassion, lamentation, and tears are all signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. The word Madhusudana is significant in this verse. Lord Krishna killed the demon Madhu, and now Arjuna wanted Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that had overtaken him in the discharge of his duty. No one knows where compassion should be applied. Compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. A man fallen in the ocean of nescience cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress, the gross material body. One who does not know this and laments for the outward dress is called a Shudra, or one who laments unnecessarily. Arjuna was a Kshatriya, and this conduct was not expected from him. Lord Krishna, however, can dissipate the lamentation of the ignorant man, and for this purpose, the Bhagavad-Gita was sung to him, by him. This chapter instructs us in self-realization by an analytical study of the material body and the spirit soul, as explained by the Supreme Authority, Sri Lord Krishna. This realization is made possible by working with the fruitive being situated in the fixed conception of the real self. So, Srila Gurudeva would say that the greatest act of compassion is to turn someone towards Sri Krishna, towards worshiping Krishna. And that this act of compassion is greater than building millions and millions of hospitals and millions of schools like this. Because if you are to build a hospital, you're only helping someone's external body. You're not actually helping who they really are, their soul. It's said that if someone were to like say there's a robber and he's dying, and they take this thief, this dacoit, and they bring him to the hospital, and they heal him and make him very nice. Then as soon as he gets out of the hospital, he's going to go and he's going to take revenge on whoever hurt him, or he's going to continue to go steal and hurt other people. And so how is this a compassionate act? You may be helping this person, but actually you're only causing more and more suffering in the world. And so this isn't actually helping anybody. And anyhow, they will go back to their sinful lives and they will do more sinful activity, because the tendency to sin and turn away from God and enjoy this world will keep them bound here forever. So, more compassionate than building millions and millions of hospitals is to turn the tendency of anyone towards, even one person, towards serving Krishna and becoming eternally liberated from this endless cycle of birth and death. And so Bhaktivedanta Thakur, in his song Nadia Gojume, Gurudeva says that, what is the essence of all religion? What is it? Jiva doya Krishna nam sarva dharmasar. I'm forgetting the first line of that verse. Krishnara samsara karo chadi anachar. Jiva doya Krishna nam sarva dharmasar. Krishnara samsara. What is Krishna samsar? Samsar generally means material existence. Samsar means the cycle, the endless cycle of birth and death. Samsar. But another word for samsar is household life, because you become so attached to your wife and your children that you become so absorbed in them at the time of death, you cannot give them up, and then you are again born into this world to keep all of those material desires going. So that's samsar, attachment to this world. So Gurudeva would say, what is Krishna samsar? Generally in family life, the household is the center of all of our activities, and we're just going around, and the whole focus is like the household life and the house and the wife and the husband and the kids, and all of their happiness. This is the center of all of our activities, is the household and the wife and the husband, everything. But Krishna samsar means that Krishna is in the center of all of our activities. So we have a deity, generally, of the Supreme Lord in our house. And we may have a job, we may be doing so many activities, and we're maintaining the household and having children and everything. We may be cooking very nice foodstuffs, but we offer it all to the deity. We're working so we can maintain the house to keep the deity going and the deity worship happening. And we're hosting devotees who are speaking about Krishna, and we're spending our free time chanting the name of Krishna. And like this, Krishna is the center of all of our activities. And so no harm if you're in householder life or renounced temple life. Every temple has a deity of Krishna, and everything that we do is meant for his pleasure. And we offer everything that the fruits of our work, we offer that to Krishna. And we offer our mind, we think about Krishna, we speak about Krishna, we serve him. And so this is Krishna samsar. And then everything is okay. Everything is meant for Krishna's pleasure, not our own. And so that's Krishna samsar. Kado chari anachar. Anachar means like bad activities, like eating meat, eggs, fish, illicit sex, intoxication. All of these things are unwanted activities. So chari, give them up. This is another very important part of spiritual life. There's the medicine and then there's the diet. So we take what's good, which is service to Krishna, and then we give up those things that are unfavorable for Krishna. This is the first two limbs of surrender, is anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam. Giving up those things which are unfavorable. And there's a long story about this, but basically, Gurudeva would tell the story about a marriage party who they were having a very nice marriage, and they were meant to go to the other side of the river, and the auspicious time for their marriage was going to come the next day, the next morning, early in the morning. And so that evening, they asked a group of persons, boatmen, to take them across the river all night so that they could arrive there in the morning. And on that boat, Gurudeva would say, there was all these prostitutes and so much intoxication and nice foodstuffs that they were all enjoying day and night. They were, all night they were dancing and singing and getting intoxicated and having sex and so many things. Enjoying their senses. But the father, he asked these boatmen, please get us to the other side by morning. We have to get there right on time. And they said, yes, no problem, we will get there. But we need some payment. We need something so that we can get across to the side. And they asked for some marijuana. Ganja bang, Gurudeva would say. Some kind of marijuana drink, cannabis drink. And they said, if we have this, then very easily we can make it across. And so he gave them what they wanted, and they said, no problem, we can get you there. And they took this intoxication and began to row the boats all day and night. They were rowing so hard, so much. Sweat coming down their faces all day and night. All of them were rowing so much, and they were intoxicated. And by the morning time, everyone had come, the father had come up from the boat to see if they had arrived. And he looked around and he saw that they were in the exact same spot that they started. And he became very upset. And he asked the boatman, what are you doing? We haven't moved a single inch. And we're going to miss the time for our wedding. Everything is ruined. What have you done? And they said, no, sir, we've been rowing all night without stopping. We've been working so hard. Of course we've arrived. And they became very puzzled. And they were looking around and they noticed that the anchor was still in the water. And they had not raised the anchor onto the boat before they began to row. And they realized their mistake. So Gurudeva would tell this story as an example of how we have to give up all of these unwanted things if we still want to maintain material attachments and material sense enjoyment. and sinful activities and all these things, and at the same time we want to go to Krishna and serve Krishna, it is not possible. You cannot put two swords in one sheath. You either pick one or the other. You can't have both things at the same time, because nothing material exists up there in the spiritual world. You cannot maintain any material attachments in the spiritual world. If you're in the spiritual world, that means all of your attachment is bound to go to Krishna. And in this connection, Srila Prabhupada, he would say something very interesting. He would say that really, there's no such thing as the material world. Newsflash. What does that mean? What is Srila Prabhupada saying here? He said that material existence means forgetfulness of Krishna. And he said that remembrance of Krishna means spiritual world. So what does that mean? He said if all of our activities and all of our attention and our mind and our eyes and everything is completely absorbed in thinking about Krishna, speaking about Krishna, Krishna is the center of all of our activities and all of our discussions and all of our thinking, then this is exactly what is going on in the spiritual world. And so what is the difference? There is no difference. He said that place is Vaikuntha, that place where all the activities are centered on Krishna, that is the spiritual world. And that place is Vaikuntha. And material world means the forgetfulness of Krishna. All of your activities are for yourself, for your own sense enjoyment, at the cost of others' happiness. And so if we want to go to the spiritual world, we have to, Gurudeva would say, charity begins from home. Meaning you start practicing the activities that you'll be performing in the spiritual world right here, right now. That's why we surrender to Guru and we serve the devotees, because in the spiritual world we're going to be serving Krishna's devotees and following under our Guru, our superior authorities in the spiritual world in service to Radha and Krishna. So we start here, and then it's called the Jivan Mukta. Liberated, even while in this material body, we can be liberated and be completely detached from all the material happiness and distress of this world, and be transcendentally situated by always being in connection, in yoga, with Krishna. How? Srila Prabhupada says that in the very end of the Gita, Krishna says, Sarva dharmam prityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Mokshayishyami masucha. I forget the rest. But basically, give up everything and surrender to me. Take shelter of me. Just forget everything. Forget all these other kind of yoga practices and karma yoga, jnana yoga, whatever it is. And just, the point is to love me, come to me, so just do that. And Prabhupada would say, what is the meaning of take shelter of Krishna? Because we can't see him. And he said that to take shelter of Krishna means to hear about him. To take shelter of Krishna means to speak about him, to serve his deity form, to pray to him for his mercy, that we can realize him and serve him actually. So we take shelter of bhakti. The embodiment of bhakti is Srimati Radhika. and we hear about Krishna from those who have love for him, and by doing that we can attract Krishna, that we can see him in our transcendental form, and we can serve him like that. So Srimati Radhika, she's non-different than Krishna himself. So we take shelter of bhakti, and we're in direct connection with Krishna. We're in yoga through love, like this. So, Krishnana samsara, put Krishna in the center of your life, give up all unwanted things so that you can only accept what's favorable for Krishna bhakti, which is performing all the limbs of bhakti with great enthusiasm under guidance. And then Jiva Doya Krishna Nam Sarva Dharma Sar, the essence, the sar, the sarva, all the essence, sarva sar, of all religion, of all dharma, is Jiva Doya, giving doya or compassion to all the jivas, all the living entities. By what? By giving them Krishna Nam, by giving them the holy name of Krishna, which is, Gurudeva said, more powerful than Krishna himself, invested with all of his potency. The power of chanting the holy name we can't even imagine. At once, all of our karma is burnt to ashes. Everything, all of our sinful tendencies, everything is finished. And love for Krishna very quickly comes in the heart, and we can become happy. We saw that with Srila Prabhupada. So many hippies who were doing so many terrible things and doing so many drugs, as soon as they started chanting the holy name, they gave up all of these things and they started worshiping Krishna. Because that transcendental bliss, you taste it. Gurudev said that whether you believe in the holy name or not, it will act. Just like if you are to touch fire, whether you believe in fire or not, it's going to burn you. So similarly, the holy name is so powerful that even if you don't believe in it, if you chant it, you will get the results. The effects of the holy name will come, which means that your heart will be cleansed of all impurities. You will immediately feel some love for God in your heart, and then you won't want to hurt anybody or anything in this world. You will see everything as an extension of his energy. You won't feel any greed or anything for your own sense enjoyment. You'll be very satisfied with whatever you have, knowing that Krishna will fully maintain you and support you and love you. And you'll immediately become peaceful. And all your lust and everything will very quickly go away, and you'll be unlimitedly happier. Every time you chant the holy name, you'll be happier. More and more and more and more. Because Gurudev said, happiness is ananda, is bliss, and bliss means love. So that love in the heart of Srimati Radhika, a drop of that may come in your heart by her mercy, and Krishna will be very merciful to us, very generous. Krishna is very generous. So the greatest act of compassion is to distribute the holy name of Krishna. And when people chant this holy name, they will become attracted at once, because Krishna means the all-attractive. They won't want to stop chanting. And then we described it before, how this can transform someone's life, bring them to Krishna and be eternally liberated, and also help others. And then there's no more violence, there's no more any of these things. Everyone would be loving each other and giving, and there'd be no lacking, and everything would be very nice. Then this world would turn into Vaikuntha. It would be like the spiritual world, where Krishna's in the center, we're all focused on him, and he's distributing that love to everyone, unlimitedly. And then there's no more kunta, there's no more anxiety. So this is the peace formula. And this is real compassion, not, not worrying so much about the material condition of anybody, but trying to understand how they can be eternally benefited. And, right, he's saying, it's senseless to have compassion for the outer dress of a drowning man. Where should our compassion be applied? It should be applied in trying to help others hear about Krishna and develop the desire to chant his name and go back to him and serve him, ultimately leading to their liberation. And then we don't lament for anyone's condition in this world, because whether someone is a king or a beggar, they're both bound to die, they're both suffering disease and old age and ultimate death. So we give them the holy name of Krishna that they chant, and then Krishna will hear that, and at the time of death, Krishna will give them a very good birth in their next birth, and can be liberated from this ignorance. So Krishna is going to speak all of these truths to Arjuna and remove his ignorance, that there's no need for you to lament for all of your family members. The soul is eternal. When you kill them, they're fighting for a good cause on the battlefield. They will be, at least they'll go to the heavenly planets and enjoy there and then come back down. And don't worry, because I'm here, so they will be liberated. And don't lament for this outer dress. We lament that, oh, this person has died, that person has died, but really they haven't died. The soul has just gone to a new place. And you didn't even know who that soul was, what the soul looked like. So Krishna is going to remove the lamentation of Arjuna. And for this purpose, Bhagavad-Gita was sung. And so we're so indebted to Krishna for speaking all of this truth so that we can be relieved of our ignorance in this material world and we can find eternal happiness. And I'm going to stop there. There's so much more to say, obviously, but it's for another day. Radhe, Radhe, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.